Tim Snortons, we have what you need to make it through your day. Need breakfast? You got it. Lunch or dinner? Made to order, just the way you want it.
Delicious.
Thirsty? Try our famous ice fap. A nice latte? Or a classic roast. And don't forget dessert, like our signature Snort bits.
Oh, it was good.
Tim Snortons. We've got you covered.
Word, hey, chopping it with Mittens, joking about his name is so fly. Mittens, cause he whipping, don't you get it, but that stove's hot, hot. Now let this be a lesson, professor. He handling and hitting his possession. Ooh, what you cooking? Scalding hot beats, but blow up before it's cooking. Ooh, I know you're looking true. I'm out attacking with this beat, I'm a lady man. I'm really tryna date it out. What's the number tryna call out? What about my team? Wood, shout they don't get logged out. Made by Bethesda, the only way we fall out. Morocco, you a mole. Find another hole to crawl out. Hey, I'm sick of squirrel with the biggest girls. Lace since the case get up. I'm thinking stripping, girl. Damn, how sounding cliche, right? Well, I flame out brain. I'm the PK type. Come and rest in my nest. I'm a bet that night. Metaphor, girl, you gon' get that pipe. Whoa,
All right. Came in a little late, but it is what it is. Better as time goes on, maybe. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News Second Edition. This is Snortopia. This is the Gout Report. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with part 2 of our coverage of the main event versus DSP saga. In part 1, we went over the initial challenge and how Phil needed to step up to the plate to back up some of his claims, and main event was willing to put his channel and all social media presence on the line to see Phil get bumped off, just to prove that he was willing to back up his words. Now, if you know anything about Phil and his time in the FGC, he's been a coward, and anytime a challenge has been really issued to him, he usually finds a way to back out, like, you know, wanting to stand up and fight with people. There were some money matches that he stepped up out of because he didn't have the capital, or he knew he was going to lose, or because of other various reasons and mysterious snorts in the night. It is what it is. So that's what we're going to go over today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with main event. DSP backs down from online gaming challenge. This is from February 25th of 2014. Link will be down in the description. Now, you guys all know what's about to come up next. This is Chewing the Fat with GTG, also known as Welcome to My TED Talk. Now, the fact that Phil backed down from this is not a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, but it also shows in a lot of ways on why he is the way he is now. Dismissing people, dismissing challenges. Who are you? I don't even know you. What validity do you have? What clout can I actually get from you? Nothing? Fuck you. Shit like that. That's essentially what the whole point of all this was. On top of the fact that Phil more than likely wasn't going to win. And that in Phil's mind, and rightfully so, to be honest, why would you go ahead and put up your entire livelihood that you're failing at, right? Because you really can't do much of anything else. Why would you put all that up in a situation that you're going to lose either which way? Because let's be honest, even if Phil did take the challenge, he's going to lose. He's not going to give up social media and everything. And people are just going to say he's a liar and he's a coward and he's not a man because he can't stand behind his word. Oh, wow. That's the same thing they say about him now anyway. So it was a no-win situation for Phil. To be honest, he just wasn't going to come out of this on top. And to be honest with you, I was actually kind of surprised. I really was. I was kind of surprised to see some of Phil's supporters shit on him for him not being man enough to take this challenge and not accepting the terms and going through with it. I was actually genuinely surprised that there was pushback in his audience and in his little group over there, Hate Army. That's what I was looking for. I was really surprised by that. So that's a thing. But let's go ahead and get into the video itself. Hopefully you guys are doing well. And I think each video will just go out individually, and then eventually I'll lump all of this up into just one large compilation, but that'll probably be months down the line or some shit. But that might be a thing. It was a recommendation that someone made here in the newsroom, so maybe we'll go about that. In any case, thank you for coming to my TED Talk, and let's go ahead and get into the situation at hand, shall we? Hopefully you guys are doing well, and this is the Gout Report. I'll see you guys in a second. Here we go.
And it don't stop. Word, hey, chopping it with Mittens, joking about his name is so fly. Mittens, cause he whipping, don't you get it, but that stove's hot, hot. Now let this be a lesson, professing, he handling the hit in his possession. Ooh, what you cooking, scalding hot beats, was blow up before it's cooking. Ooh, I know you're looking.
Alright, seems like I'm on the clock today because this coward actually responded. And I put like this: ever since I did the video from last week, fans of DSP have been crying because of my challenge to their hero. Well, look, I put like this: you might as well call me Travis Touchdown today, because if you didn't like last week's video, you definitely not gonna like this week's video, alright? Because I put like this: I'm gonna put it down today, and we're gonna get through all the lies, all the bullshit. So once again, you fans of DSP could not defend any of this. I have a lot to say to you fans at the end of this video as well, because you should be ashamed of yourself. So since this coward wants to back down from my challenge, and that's exactly what he did, alright? He tried to dismiss me with a bunch of garbage and assumptions and name calling, alright, without providing any evidence. That's right, and you know how I do things. I let the proof show, and this is further going to damage him as far as I'm concerned. So let's see this coward's response.
Now, before we get into that, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Main Event. DSP Gaming backs down from online gaming challenge. This is from February 25th of 2014. The link to the video will be down in the description without my annoying voice. You should go down, you should watch the video, and you should go into his description box and take a look at the links there, at least, you know, the ones that are still working, I should say. Because like I said, a lot of this stuff got, was being taken down, or channels that was associated with it were taken down as well. So you guys can try to retrieve what you can. And check out the comment section. And like I said, see what was said over there, and so on and so forth. It's a good read. You wouldn't be wasting your time. You're really not. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and get into it.
No. What I get is a tweet that some guy has made a video saying that I'm a racist and calling me out in the fighting game community. That I have no credit just calling myself a pro fighting game player. Like, what? This is what people are talking about. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Why the fuck would I care? You know what I mean? Why would I care about that? I haven't been in the competitive fighting game community in how long? When was the last time I entered a tournament of any sort? You know? I love fighting games. I have expertise in them. I've competed in tournaments. I'm a tournament winner.
You got some idiot named DSP who's a total piece of shit, by the way. I like to get that on YouTube. But this guy thought he was hot shit because he beat me and Choi in a game that was like, it's like fucking Neo Geo conversion of Street Fighter or some crap, dude. and he was so proud that he put under as a signature he's the #1 US ranked Super Turbo player that year. But I mean, look at him now.
Exactly. You know, and that right there was the panel with John Choi, Mike Watson, who was the guy in the middle, and Alex Valle, also known as Uncle Valle, at the end, where they didn't make any excuses for why they lost. It was a gimmick. It was an absolute garbage port. It was a gimmick tournament. But Phil sat there and ran around and tried to treat that shit like it was legitimate, like it meant everything, and people should acknowledge his 4th place finish, even though he didn't win. But yet again, he did try to pass it off for a while that he did win the whole tournament, but he didn't. So at the end of the day, it was a garbage port. If you had taken 4th, no one would clown you over it, but you put yourself in a position to be clowned because you threw that 4th place finish up in these people's faces and said, acknowledge me for this. Praise me for this. I deserve it. And they were like, you don't. Who gives a fuck about 4th? Is there even a medal for 4th? In anything? No. Take your fucking participation trophy and get the fuck up off the fucking stage. That's the reality.
I've been to the top of the mountain and I've been at the bottom. And I ran that race, and I'm done with it. That was a chapter in my life that I'm done with. And not to say, like I said, when Ultra Street Fighter 4, whatever the fuck they're calling it, comes out later this year, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to try out the new characters. I may make it a regular thing that one time a week, maybe I play the game online, and I make it something of my schedule to play the game once a week to try to get up to par in fighting games, right? Doesn't mean that I'm taking it seriously. It doesn't mean that I'm going to go back to competitive fighting games as a thing that I compete in, right? What on earth would make someone think that this is the time to call me out in a fighting game? What?
Well, that, and as we saw in the last video, ladies and gentlemen, in his channel trailer, I myself am a former pro fighting game player. You modeled yourself on that accolade. You know what I'm saying? You modeled yourself on it, which goes back to something I said on the main channel, where he was chasing. Him coming to YouTube was the only way to keep his legacy in the FGC alive, because in all other FGC circles, no one gave a fuck. The YouTube was the only platform who would give him access to gullible people, or people who just didn't care to look and were willing to take him at face value, or people who just didn't care in general, that would let him sit there and boast because they didn't have anything to say about it. If it wasn't for YouTube, he'd have faded and died out as it pertains to his FGC shit. It was a godsend that he was able to get the audience, or garner the audience on YouTube, and keep ingraining that into their heads. He was very, very fortunate with that. But he's going to be like, why should I care about the FGC, despite the fact that you still have the channel trailer that says I was a former pro fighting game player? Which isn't even accurate, but whatever.
My God. Really? This is the level of intelligence on the internet. Pretty silly, right? So it'll continue. The absolute ridiculousness will continue, as long as it is, again, it is propagated to be, it's the in thing to hate on people, to jump on them. Let's face it, a lot of these people who are doing it, you know, the only reason they're doing it is to get attention, because they know that they can't get attention any other way.
If you didn't
That's
care,
ironic, because that's what Phil was doing to other bigger YouTubers. He does it to bigger Twitch streamers, and he does it to the gaming community itself as a whole on Twitter. Oh, but no, I'm not trying to get attention. That's just how I really feel. Or someone had brought a question to me about it, and I was just giving them my honest answer. It was never about attention. It was never about clout. But as of late, especially all of the beginning of 2020, of 2021, and at least the majority of last year, that's all he did. He jumped on every little thing he could, whether it had something to do with the fighting game community, whether it had something to do with a big streamer or a big influencer, or someone who he felt, in air quotes, wronged him at one time or another, usually 3 to 5 years fucking ago. And he bashed him for his little, 5,000, 7,000 Twitter likes? Like, that means a goddamn thing to anybody. Well, I mean, obviously it means something to him.
why are you talking about it, huh? Why didn't you just ignore it? You acting like I'm saying, oh, meet me in the tournaments at Evo. I didn't say all that. I said play me online in a game, in an online match, like you do anyone else. See, all I'm hearing is a bunch of fucking excuses. That's all it is. You scared. That's all that talk you're doing. This right here. Blah, 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 blah. I'm scared of event. I'm backing down. That's what the fuck you're doing. I even told you I give you time to practice. But that's not good enough, is it? And you talking about something, I want some fame. I just want to be noticed. Motherfucker, I put my channel on the line. What the fuck makes you think that it's about fame? Fuck E-Fame. I've been telling y'all this for how long? I don't give a shit about how many followers you have. I don't give a shit about how many views you get. I don't give a shit how much you think about a gaming god you are because you do video game videos. That shit means nothing to me, man. The fuck is wrong with you?
And that's why Phil looked at him as a threat. Because, and Phil's demonstrated this. I'm not sure if most of you guys have noticed this or not. But let me impress some of this on you if I may. Phil has always been threatened by people who have nothing to lose. You know what I'm saying? He's always been very scared of that, because if someone steps into a situation that they're not profiting from, or they don't give a fuck about social standings or clout or whatever, and they say what they say and they're willing to stand behind it and they're willing to push forward on that, then you can't negotiate with them. You can't go ahead and go to Viscant and say, oh, well, let's act like we're getting rid of beef and then DX chop and do all that bullshit. You can't negotiate with people like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only reason why that shit with Viscant happened the way it did is because, let's be honest, I mean, Viz felt bad for him, so he just let the whole shit go. That's really what it was. If he really wanted to stick to the conviction, despite how stupid he thought the whole thing was, he'd have beaten Phil's ass down there and let it all go. Because Phil was the one who was like, "Oh, we need to get an official, and we need to go ahead and sign waivers just in case someone gets killed in the event of this fight." Phil was the one who pushed all that. And Viscant was like, "All right, whatever. If that's what you want. As long as I get you in a position where this fight happens, sure, I'll sign whatever little dumbass thing you want." That was Phil who propagated that situation. And at the end of the day, Viz wasn't scared. And that's what bothered Phil. That's what bothered him the most, is the fact that, oh shit, this guy, he doesn't care if he gets hurt as long as he hurts me. Same thing with our boy here with Main Event. He has nothing to lose, and he's willing to put up everything to make his point. And then even if Main Event comes back, he's not scared to start over and start a brand new channel from the ground up and keep it pushing. Something like that intimidates most people, but that scares Phil. There you go.
See, this is the problem that we have today in the community. You are displaying it. Thank you. But for a person who says, that he doesn't care about things and that he doesn't really care about the hater shit, for a person who says that, you're sure as hell talking a lot about it, because in your rules in your stream, you say you're not going to talk about haters or hater videos. And we're going to talk about that word later. Let's show him when he said, let's just actually show the rules right now. Now, I want y'all to remember those rules, okay? I want y'all to remember those, because there's going to be more in the future of this video that's going to, reflect on that. However, I will say, he didn't watch the video. When you're making stupid-ass assumptions, all right, and claims without any evidence, when I'm showing proof as usual, all right, it goes to show you what type of person he is. And you notice, throughout the entire thing, he sidestepped any type of responsibility for his actions. What does that tell you? Don't sit here and tell me this.
It tells you a lot, but that right there is something. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is 2014. You guys see all of this up until the time you're hearing my voice now in what? Early 2021? In January of 2021, Phil does all this. To the T. Oh, we don't allow hater discussions go on over here. We don't allow detractor discussions or whatever. But I'm going to monetize these emotes to make hater memes of those hater memes, right? We're going to do all that. Or that real, or the cultivation that he's been doing as of late, and indoctrination, or pignosis, if you will, has really ramped up this year. And we're only, 10 or 11 days in with this whole nonsense about, if you're not here to talk about me or talk about the game that I'm playing, then you don't need to be here. I don't want any side discussions. I don't want anything that's off topic. I don't want any of that. If you don't like the game, leave. If you don't have anything to say to me on my stream, leave. Don't talk to anybody else. Don't sit there. If you're not going to talk to me, or if you're not going to sit there and throw me money, or if you're not here to praise me, get the fuck out. I don't want to see any discussions amongst other people in the chat unless it has something to do with me. What the fuck is that? This isn't a public chat. This is a place of business, or some nonsense he called that shit. The fuck are you doing, my dude? Yes, it is a public chat. Anybody can come onto your stream and do that. If not, then put that bitch in the sub only like most streamers do. But see, you don't want to do that because supposedly, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, supposedly none of his content will ever be behind a paywall. So we're not going to put it in the chat in subscriber only mode. So I'm just going to tell you, if you're not here to praise me, get the fuck up out. Who does that? Like, what streamer does that? And see, that's one of the reasons why he doesn't want to put the chat in the sub only mode, because he doesn't want to kick out people who are already giving him money and then ramp up the chargebacks even more. Especially since whoever it is out there in the void is getting away with all these chargebacks daily. These supposed chargebacks that Phil is taking steps to make sure that doesn't happen, right? He safeguarded himself, yet they still continue to happen, which is weird. It's very strange. And then we come up on stream and say, oh guys, I had a bunch of chargebacks today, so now I'm down like $70 to $80. So now he needs $170 or $180 just to bring himself up to where he needs to be. Isn't that crazy? And it's really, really funny that all of that happens quite frequently in the weekend leading up to the Tuesday day off. Or, as people on QE Farms and Detractor Twitter have been surmising and slowly but surely bringing the proof together for, when a WWE event, a WWE Champions event, is right around the corner. It's really funny that the begging ramps up around those times. It's really, really curious. But yet again, pay attention to the behavior, pay attention to what Main Event is saying here, and you're going to hear a lot of those correlations to what's going on right now. Here we go.
This is all a bunch of hater shit. I'm gonna get on that in a minute, alright? It's this simple. Just be honest, DSP. You don't want none of this heat. That's what it is, and I'm not even from Miami. But you flopping, king of hate. How you be the king of hate and then run from valid criticism? How that possible? Come on, man. What's wrong with you? Not only that, man. You want to talk about the haters? The haters, first off, step your slang game up, closet jockey. Understand that word is dead. That was what the raging do. Look, we done with that, all right? Look at what this little contradictive bitch had to say on Twitter afterwards. So the bullying needs to stop when it comes to him, you know, when it's convenient for him, when he's receiving it, yet he can still dish it out to others.
And it is really fucking annoying. Now, when I go to these tournaments, I say, hey, guess what? Such and such, I've known you for 10 years. Get the fuck off this station because I want to play the game. And usually, when you threaten them like that, they get the fuck up because none of them want to fight.
Usually, when you threaten them like that, they'll get up. I wish you would do that to me. I wish you would do that to me. I personally don't know anybody that would listen to that bullshit and be like, get the fuck up. Excuse me? I don't. Nah. You wanna repeat yourself? Yeah, I don't think so. And as Phil just said there, usually when you do that, they get the fuck up. Well, what happens with the other percentage that don't? What happens then? Is that when John and everybody else has to kind of crowd around you and protect you? Even though you stepped your own ass out of line? I thought you were so respected in the community. You couldn't wait your turn? No, just get the fuck up. Really? You really think that this slack-jawed coward bitch really said that to anybody? Really? Nah. And if he did, and they were like, come again? I bet you anything. Oh, I'm just joking. When can I get on? That's probably how the conversation really went. I'm sorry. I think that sounds a bit more accurate. Accurate. Let's go.
Hey, you get the fuck out of here, this wannabe tough guy with bullshit. Trying to talk grimy and failing at it. Wearing a cowboy hat like you wilding the fuck out. Man, these cowboys on here, they don't need you. They writing Bill Parcells on your tombstone. And there's no Doc Holliday to save you, Huckleberry. I wish you would try some shit like that with me. Need I remind y'all motherfuckers where the fuck I'm from? Meaning I can sniff phonies a mile away. Look at your body language. You're not built for that type of work. Look how you reacted to an online game challenge. You soft. You're not strong-arming nobody. And when people asked you about it, you started banning people from your channel. So for a small recap, he breaks his own rules by speaking about me, meaning I'm in his fucking head, alright? Then when people ask about me to him on the channel, when he's speaking about me, he bans them. What kind of soft shit is that? You live in fantasies, man. Now put it like this. If you tried that shit up here up north, it'd be final. Understand this real quick. And for some more bitch shit that he did, alright? If you such a fucking tough guy, why you send your girl, why you put your girl on the front lines to come and contact me, but you didn't have a heart to do it yourself?
Oh, wow. He sent PandaLee to try to settle things with the BBC? God damn! Oh, Panda. Oh, Panda. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, wow. She sent him after Main Event. Or, sorry, Phil sent Panda after Main Event and El Prez. El Prez was talking shit about you back then? Yeah, I can see that. I can see El Prez doing that shit. God damn. yo, for whatever any of you guys think about Panda in any way, shape, or form, she was a real one. She was a real one. She was a real one. Kind of like, to be honest with you, the situation with Wings and what's that, Kelly? I think is the name of his wife. She ain't sat there and grilled. She attempted to grill. Is it Gulag Kingpin? It's one of Wings of Redemption's trolls and whatnot. He has a good channel though too. He has some really good. He has some gems on there. They tried to interview Gulag. This is probably a few weeks at the point that you guys are listening to this, and it was really sad watching Wings kind of throw these punches behind, trying to throw these punches standing behind his wife. I was like, no, don't do this, Wings. If you're going to stand there on the front lines with that, do that. Or if you're going to stand shoulder to shoulder with Kelly, do that. Don't stand behind her and try to throw jabs at that dude and be like, you can't attack me because my wife. Don't do that. Don't do that. But damn, this must be a thing that lol cows do. This must be, ladies and gentlemen, this is Snortopia Geographic. Take it all in. Jesus. She went after main event and El Prez. Wow. Crazy. Just crazy.
Now, mind you, all I said on Twitter was that you people told me that he was talking about me. I didn't say he was talking about me the entire time. I didn't say that. And I found it funny that they came and found me because I don't follow him. I don't know their Twitter. I don't watch these dumbass streams like that. Like I said, after last week, why should I follow them? I don't know anything about that. I'm not going to bother with them like that. You get what I'm saying? They keep watching, wonder what he's going to say next. Nah, I was sitting back and chilling. Y'all was telling me everything that was going on and sending me the stuff. Were y'all not? Okay then. Like I said, I was good. But yet, she kept running her mouth, so I had to put that chick in her place as well. At that point, she blocked me. So let me get this straight. You contact me, but block me. Are you serious? Come on, man. Look, I told you clowns on here before. When you put your significant other on here, or your girlfriend or whatever, and you start bragging about her like she's some type of, so a bragging piece, or you putting her on the front lines, I'm going to shoot her down. Okay? Because you're putting her on the board as if she's a pawn. That's what it is. You're making her expendable. And then you want to blame me for going after her. No. You did it. You put her on the front line like that. Old girl in defense mode, like she Yu-Gi-Oh! She ain't got any trap game. I put it like this. All right. Instead of you,
yo, I'm gonna make up bars. Yeah, fucking A, man. It's funny because this actually changes the mythos a little bit. Because the mythos was that, PandaLee went out there and was fighting a good fight for Phil and so on and so forth, which she did. But you would think, as a man, if Panda was doing this all on her own, why aren't you interjecting yourself into those conversations? Be like, yo, Panda, I appreciate that. Fall back. He's my problem. I'll deal with it. You didn't catch any of that. Like homeboy said, yo, she came at him and whatnot. She couldn't handle the tip, and then she fell back and blocked him. Where was Phil at to protest any of this? Oh, god damn, boy. That's disappointing. I mean, realistically, I shouldn't be surprised. Given Phil's behavior and his penchant, yet again, the whole situation in the FGC, where other people had to stand up for him because he couldn't stand up for himself. Even former adversaries who he had beef with stepped in on his behalf. But goddamn, you were willing to hide behind Panda? You weren't willing to blow her back out, but goddamn, she could go ahead and stand on the front lines for you? Whew. Wow. God dog.
About what I'm saying about your man, you should be questioning your man on why he showed your nude pictures on the stream to his fans for views. Now look, I can't show y'all those pictures, but we sure as hell got enough witnesses.
Actually, I'm glad he brought that up. That is it's either in a DSP cult video, a cult leader video, or it's in another detractor video, an older one, a much older one, where Phil actually shows the live stream where he was supposedly talking about some new features in Panda's the thumbnail for Panda's picture did pop up very clearly and whatnot, and people were able to go back and find it, so on and so forth. Yeah. Yikes. Yikes. Oh boy. Damn, Panda. She got put through the ringer and all the way she didn't want to. Hurtful. Just hurtful.
You know, DSP, I don't know what's worse. You breaking your girl's trust for views, or you letting her fight your battles for you. That's not what men do. Nah, you half of a man. But since you want to parade her around, let's get into it. Now, for what I'm hearing, a lot of people are saying that you're what, 31? Some say you're in your, late 20s, mid 20s maybe. She 19 years old. Y'all been together for a number of years, which means when you met her, she wasn't of age, which means that puts you in a...
that in mind, okay? Because usually when you go back to some of these older videos and they discuss this, it is said that Phil had said in the past that they were together for a number of years. Or he's implied that, whatever the case may be. I haven't heard him yet. I've just heard other detractor videos where they have expressed that opinion. Or that was something that was widely expressed at that time. Which leads back into this whole thing about whether him and Panda, if Panda was really of age when they started dating or whatnot. Now, granted, I think the consensus now is that he was certainly talking to her before she was 18, which I believe that wholeheartedly. How long, couldn't tell you, but he was definitely talking to her before she was 18. And then I guess it wasn't solidified, if you will, until after the fact. Yet again, that's still up for debate, but it's not something that surprises me. You know what I'm saying? What you guys think of it is all on you, and you guys can express that in any way you see fit. But I'm not surprised at that fact. I'm just not. You know what I mean? Now, granted, hopefully as time goes on, we'll get some clear-cut proof. But I'm certainly not surprised by that. I'm really not. I'm really not. Because he's such a scumbag. He's such a scumbag. And if you look at what's going on in the YouTube and Twitch community now, and all the shit that's getting exposed... let's move on. Let's just move on.
You want to parade her around, let's get into it. Now, for what I'm hearing, a lot of people are saying that you're what, 31? Some say you're in your late 20s, mid 20s maybe. She 19 years old. Y'all been together for a number of years, which means when you met her, she wasn't of age, which means that puts you in a pedophile state. You know what? Let's run the clip, man.
Okay, so there's this guy on YouTube, DSP Gaming. I don't like the guy. The guy's fucking retarded, okay? So, this guy is a pedophile. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but no, I'm serious. I'm fucking serious. I wish I weren't. The guy's a pedophile. Why is he a pedophile? Let's see. The guy's in his mid-20s. And a couple of years ago, apparently, because this girl is 19... or 18, I don't know her fucking age, it's been in between there, and they met when she was 16, meaning he was only 22 or 23 years old, meaning he started dating her when she was a minor. Pedophile much? Yes, he is, but they kept it secret. They kept it a secret. Oh my god, that's not bad. Yes, it is bad. The guy's a fucking pedophile. Exposed. Why do we let pedophiles on YouTube? It makes no sense. Look, guy, okay? First off, you don't date a girl when she's 16, especially if you're in your mid-20s. Mid-20s, you don't start dating a girl when she's 16. You dumb fuck. I hate pedophiles. I hate them. Pedophile. Look. DSP, get the fuck off of YouTube. You sick fuck.
And just to let you gamers know, the guy who made that video confirms that DSP's friends, that they admit that they was trying to keep it a secret, and that they were together for a number of years when she wasn't legal. But that's not all. Nah, DSP displays even more pedophilia when he's playing the walking.
Okay, this is where things kind of get murky. The video clip that you saw, I didn't see it. I can't find that video, so I can't corroborate any of that. You know what I'm saying? That's just a dude saying what he's saying. There are supposedly some mods who know the story and that they had kept it on the wraps, and some of Phil's friends knew and they were keeping it secret. The question is who? Now, Phil, as it pertains to this particular argument, makes a point saying, well, John and Howard were my friends, so, they didn't know about anything. Now, let's hold up for a minute. Howard was allegedly never Phil's friend, and this is by Phil's admission. He was always an associate. He was always one of John's friends. Excuse me. He was always one of John's friends, and he just kind of hung around with us. I never looked at him as a friend. Phil is on record for saying that. So that moves Howard out of that situation. As for John, do you think, is it possible that John knows every little thing about Phil? Maybe, maybe not. She wasn't coming around until that Valentine's Day situation. So who could say anything about anything, to be honest, on how much John and Howard knew or they didn't know? How many friends did Phil really have? You know what I mean? How many of them would Phil really trust with that? So that's kind of murky waters. I don't know. So you're going to have to, take that with a grain of salt, if you will. But I think Phil makes an interesting argument on that as it pertains to the friend situation. But then again, it wasn't like Phil was hanging around John and Howard 24/7 anyway. So who could say? I need more. I need more. You know what I'm saying? To be honest. But allegedly, there's older mods that could corroborate some of that. It is what it is.
Dead. Now understand, people, I can't show you the entire clip. I don't think anybody really wants to see it anyway, alright? However, the comments at the end of that clip make this fucking clip. However, I will say, I'm just going to show you a little bit of it, and the full video will be in the info bar.
Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh yes! Yes! Yeah! I love it! Yes! 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 Now tear it through! Yes! Come on! Yes! Oh yeah! Oh yes! Oh yeah! Oh, was it good for you?
So PandaLee, understand that since you want to step on this battlefield, okay?
Now, before he goes ahead and address PandaLee, let me actually bring that back a little bit. Not to that whole nonsense. I don't want to actually go through all that. If I remember correctly, Phil purposely botched this part of it. And he did it on purpose. Because of the entertainment value. The way he's reacting to all this is definitely, there's nothing funny about that. There's no entertainment value to this shit. Like, I don't know if he was drunk that night and he just felt like he was going to go any which way about it or whatever. I don't know. But that shit was disturbing. That shit was clearly fucking disturbing. And that's a hard clip to sit through, and that's certainly a hard clip to defend. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's just a game, this, that, and the third. But you ain't seeing this guy go through bitch fits over that situation with Cyberpunk. What about this? What the fuck about this? Oh boy.
So PandaLee, understand that since you want to step on this battlefield, okay? Your man is using you for views, alright? No way in hell should he let you just go out and go talk to someone like that, because you should know better. He should have told you, look, when people do that, don't talk to them. I'll handle it, because that's what men do. All right, they protect theirs instead of letting them go out and saying, okay, yeah, go talk to them. That's just stupid, because you make things worse. Also understand, you are not the first he's manipulated. Now, you are a kid. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. You are 19 years old. You are still a kid. Okay, you are talking to an adult. He should know by now, when he hits a certain age, it's 21 and over. That's what he's supposed to be dating. He knows better. But instead, y'all tried to keep it a secret. That should tell you something. You are not the first he's manipulated. You will not be the last. Okay? I guarantee you, because we even have more confirmation that from other people. So for anyone keeping count so far, DSP is a liar, a coward, a sexist, a wannabe tough guy / bully. Now, a lot of you people said last week that the clip I showed wasn't enough for him to be racist. So, since that wasn't enough, let's confirm that right now. How about that? Because here's from another YouTuber who was watching his stream at the time and calling him on his bullshit.
No. What I get is a tweet that some guy has made a video saying that I'm a racist and calling me out in the fighting game community.
You are a racist, bro. I've seen the videos.
Like, what? This is what people are talking about.
Because it's true.
Have to do with anything. Why the fuck would I care?
You should care because you're making racist remarks towards a group of people.
I've been in the competitive fighting game community in how long? When was the last time I entered a tournament of any sort? You know? I love fighting games. I have expertise in them. I've competed in tournaments. I'm a tournament winner.
People don't lie.
I've been to the top of the mountain and I've been at the bottom. And
there's videos exposing you being racist.
That I'm done with.
Stop this.
Like I said, when Ultra Street Fighter 4, whatever the fuck they're calling it, comes out later this year, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna try out the new characters. I may make it a regular thing that one time a week, maybe I play the game online and I make it something of my schedule to play the game once a week to try to get up to par in fighting games, right? Doesn't mean that I'm taking it seriously. It doesn't mean that I'm going to go back to competitive fighting games as a thing.
How are you going to get up to par in a fighting game by only playing it once a week? How are you going to get up to? How are you going to bring yourself up to par in any game that's only played once a week? For what? 2 hours, maybe 3. Think about that, especially in anything that's competitive. You're not some fucking natural genius that can just pick up and go. We've seen that. Because you see how he fails at games that he plays on the regular. But whatever, that's more DSP logic.
Earlier on Twitter, you said you didn't care about fighting games anymore.
This is the time to call me out in a fight.
It's right here. Oh my god, I don't care about competitive fighting games anymore because I grew up. Yet you're going to go out and purchase a fighting game. More hypocrisy.
Pretty silly, right? So, it'll continue. The absolute ridiculousness will continue. As long as it is, again, it is propagated to be, it's the in thing to hate on people, to jump on them. Let's face it, a lot of these people, the only reason they're doing
Excuse the ringtone.
They know that they can't get attention any other way. And some people point fingers and they say, "Oh, shame on the YouTuber or shame on the person because you responded to it and you directly addressed it." And Total Biscuit is one of those people who, if someone was a dick to him, he would call them out.
Listen. The point being is, this guy is in the live stream crying, going on and on and on about, oh my god, I hate being bullied online. People are hating on me and they're bullying me and it's not right and you shouldn't bully people. That's true. You shouldn't bully people. But the reason why it's a problem coming from your mouth is because you have been exposed for excessive racist comments.
This is what happens when you let the Jews do whatever they want. You let the Jews overrun space, and now look at this. Their greed has had the artifact to turn everyone into necromorphs. So now I, the last remaining Nazi, must exterminate them.
But remember, ladies and gentlemen, the DSP logic of this particular situation, right, is, one, it was a joke. If anybody else had done it, though, that'd have been racist. But it's a joke. Two, I stole this from Howard Stern. So, he's the #1 shock jockey out there. So if it's good for Howard Stern, who's a Jew, then it must be good for me. Right? That's Phil's logic. And then on top of that, he, according to Phil, he didn't get kicked off of Blip.tv for this right here. He got kicked off of Blip because trolls and haters kept harassing Blip, and then they finally were like, well, we have to get rid of these people if we have to get rid of you to get rid of these people, then it's worth taking the loss. And that's why they kicked him off. Not because of what he did, because of what other people did. Supposedly. Yet again, ladies and gentlemen, take it all in. Take it all in.
This guy is playing like he's a Nazi extremist in space exterminating Jews. And that's okay? You just made racist remarks towards the Jewish community. Yet you want to sit on Twitch and cry about being bullied? No, Phil. No. You've been caught doing sexist videos, as Main Event has pointed out. That's a good pose right there. Because this is serious. Main Event has called you out because you've been caught being totally disrespectful, unsportsmanlike, playing fighting games online. In the video I just showed off, being completely racist towards a group of people. And you've done it towards black people as well. You've done it towards Asian people.
In China they say, Chiki Chan, Wang, Charlie Chan, Chika Chaka Choka Cha. Shut the fuck up.
That is unacceptable. Man up. Accept the challenge. Loser gets off of social media. It's that simple. Don't run from this like you run from everything else. Black Prion has called you out several times. Can't find it right now. But the Black Prion has called you out many a times. And you block him. On Twitter, you block him. Anyone who has called you out for acting immature, you block them. My friend, you are part of the problem. It's time you take a step back, evaluate yourself, and grow up.
And for those who need to see that more clear, that he didn't care about the fighting game community, here you go. And for those who need to see those full vids in clear of DSP being racist, the full videos for those will be in the info bar as well. But we're not even done yet. Nah. Then DSP goes even further and makes fun of special needs people.
I don't just fucking make fun of others. To be ridiculing people and making fun of them, I mean, it's not what I want to do. The PlayStation doesn't allow you to easily do stuff like this like the Xbox does, because the PlayStation was designed for fucking autistic people. I don't know what they were thinking, because the PlayStation doesn't allow you to easily do stuff like this like the Xbox does, because the PlayStation was designed for fucking autistic people. I don't know what they were thinking.
Because the PlayStation doesn't allow you to easily do stuff like this like the Xbox does, because the PlayStation was designed for fucking autistic people.
And I just did a video on Friday promoting the charity for people who need help special needs. And you gonna go and do this, man? What the fuck is wrong with you?
That's ironic, because what's Phil's console of choice and has been for a number of years? Mr. I'm crying and complaining because I can't get my PS5 day one or a week early like the rest of these influencers. But I thought it was for autistic people though, Phil. Holy shit.
Seriously. You know what? The only thing positive about you, DSP, is that you're the AIDS of this community as far as I'm concerned. You need to be cut out of it. You gotta be kidding me. And you fans, alright? You fans of his. Like I said, you can't defend him, you know, legitimately. You can't disprove the video. So all you can do is come in and call me a bunch of names. Now look, let's understand this real quick, alright? Because
And
after Friday...
real quick, so he said that he had just made a video promoting a charity that Main Event was, you know, is backing, if you will. But remember that charity that Phil keeps talking about how, oh, I was going to have all these big name streamers or big name YouTubers come in and help me promote it. And it was going to be this, you know, it was going to help this really, it was going to be going for a good cause and whatever the case may be. And I couldn't do it because the haters and everything slandered me. And it would have, and you know, because of my popularity weighing, I wouldn't have been able to run a successful charity. Well, first off, the charity isn't about you. Secondly, if you were able to get supposedly these well-known top streamers / YouTubers, then they would be able to carry the weight on that. I think there was no charity. I think it was Phil early on, probably doing some type of begathon or some type of fundraiser for himself. And he was going to bring in a couple of his followers who also happen to stream and make YouTube videos. He was going to bring them in to help raise money to help him out. I think that's what the actual situation was. There was no charity. There was none of that. If you go back to Phil's bankruptcy filings, next to charities, zero, none. Why wouldn't you put down the charity? If you are giving the charity, why wouldn't you put that down on your bankruptcy? But charity is supposed to be a private thing that shouldn't be, you know, that shouldn't be flaunted, shouldn't be used for clout and whatnot, right? That's why he had that whole spiel about the ice bucket challenge that happened all those years ago. But yet you were going to do a charity, but you said you couldn't because your popularity weighed. But it wasn't about you. It was supposed to be for this charity, this alleged charity that he doesn't want to tell nobody about. Keep that in mind.
Friday, y'all know how I do. I was showing y'all pictures on Twitter. I was out and about, all right, trying to get these basketball courts in different neighborhoods renovated so that people have somewhere to go. And while I'm doing that, you on the computer typing and getting mad because I challenged you to an online game. That's what you did. You know what? Let's see some examples of that. Nah, man, trying too hard. Next one. You know what's sensitive? Thumbing up your own comment because nobody else gives a fuck what you have to say. That's right. Understand there's people who decide to just throw around a bunch of name calling without showing any proof. Alright? Because you can't disprove the video. And you're not going to be able to disprove this one either. Alright? How about this? If I've been called a bunch of names on here, 4 years on here, what the fuck makes you think if you say it, that all of a sudden it's going to become special? Seriously. You have to be kidding me. Anyways, alright? While you people are doing that, because you have no ammo against me, I'm getting messages like this. That's what you call helping the community and making a difference. See, DSP, you always talk about how you want things to be positive and you want change. What you're failing to realize is that the people that are showing these things, you call a bunch of haters, it shows that they wanted change. The community reacted because they wanted something different, because you were part of the problem. You're still part of the problem. And yet you refuse to change. Now, some of you people say that, you know, oh, he's apologized for things. Yes, he apologized for things in the past, yet still acts this way, which means his apology wasn't sincere. He doesn't care, and he's been doing this for years, which means he is set in his ways. So for all these people that have made these videos because they've been around for a while, don't sit here and tell me that this is just hater shit. No, this is something that's come back to bite you. This is something that people are calling you on. How do you sit here and trash people for wanting you to take responsibility for your actions? And while this is all going on, all you're worried about is making X amount of videos so that you can make ends meet. So let me get this straight. People say you've been around since 2008. I'm looking at your profile from 2010 up to now. Damn near 26,000 videos. And you have the nerve to call someone else playing online a loser, even though you're playing with them, but a loser? Seriously, get the fuck out of here with this, man. Look, get your shit together and stop complaining about views, because that should be the least of your worries.
And that's crazy. Oh, god damn. Look at him taking. Look, and this is 2014, ladies and gentlemen. This is before the detractors really came in, allegedly in full force. He was already dwindling. He was already dwindling. I told you all this. I've been telling you this for years. He had been dwindling before the detractors touched him. Before the detractors fucking reached into his fucking chest and pulled out his piggy little heart and shit. He was already failing. He was failing all on his own. The only difference was in 2005 is there were more people to laugh at him. That didn't bring down his demise. He brought his own demise down. He did it himself. Now back to the thing where he said that Phil has apologized for this, he's apologized for that, and so on and so forth, but yet he keeps doing it. Exactly. Excuse me. How sorry are you? My apologies. How sorry are you if you continue to keep doing something? You know what I mean? Whether bashing your friends, bashing people who, bashing stream viewers, bashing contributors, all things he does to this very day. How sorry are you if you continue to keep doing it? Bashing his own family for all of his ailments and shortcomings? It's never his fault. He's a victim of circumstance. Bad genetics, bad circumstance, lazy fans. Oh, well, he's apologized. Why don't we let that go? Because he's going to talk about it in another month or two anyway. So who gives a shit? So he can keep doing it, but we should just stop talking about it. And that fixes what? And none of his fans ever have nothing to say about that, which is really, really weird. Oh, you just took him out of context. Oh, you did this. Oh, do that. I'm glad that you guys are all very good whores, and you're so willing to stand up for your pimp. I'm good for you if that's what you if that's what your aspirations are in life. But that doesn't fix the underlying problem. A problem that you have to deal with. I just have to sit here and laugh about it. But you guys have to deal with that. Because you're not leaving them. You guys are all running around like battered housewives and you seem to be okay with taking it anyway. But none of you want to try to fix your circumstances? You don't think you guys deserve better? All right.
You're on a sinking ship, all right? That 9 to 5 is coming soon. But can you even get one at this point? Let's get something straight here, all right? Because as far as I'm concerned, a lot of people are saying, oh, you have a degree in business or you have a degree in engineering. If you're so smart, why are you working for peanuts? That makes no sense to me, man. All right? Because that's all YouTube is giving you. You putting up X amount of videos a day so you can make ends meet that day. You working for peanuts. All right? You obviously not that smart then. And I'll also put it like this. Can you even get a 9 to 5 at this point? Because if you try to get a job at a company and they decide, I'm talking about a company who checks your online activity. It's been, if anyone knows jobs now, they do a lot of it. All right? They check these videos. They go online and check what you've been doing, and they see these videos of you being sexist, racist, pedophilic, pedophiles and all this shit. Do you understand you have no shot at getting a real job? You know what that means? You put yourself in a box while burning down your channel, and everybody knows when there's nothing else left to burn, you set yourself on fire. That's what you've done. Now, people want to try to make excuses for you now. Oh, well, that's his entertainment. Stop. We're not doing that. All right? You can't hide behind entertainment but for so long. People were saying, oh, well, he's a persona for clickbait. So that's justifiable, huh? So how about this? That means we can give a break to all those guys now who torture puppies and kittens or kill puppies and kittens on camera because it's for clickbait, right? You understand what you're saying. It's just absolutely stupid. Or you're going to say you're going to try to draw a line with extremes. No, you can't do that. Then some of you say, well,
the thing that he's talking about with the torturing of animals or whatnot, Medicare was talking about that in like 2019. Some people say that shit actually goes back to like 2011. It could go back even further than that. Like, because there's always been these dark little corners of YouTube. YouTube's a big spot. So that's a thing there. Just to give you guys some perspective on that. Secondly, can DSP get a real job? It always makes me chuckle when I hear that. No, he can't. Not at something that wouldn't be entry level in that. And after a quick Google search, it's gonna be pumping gas or or pushing out groceries and shit. Like, to be honest, there's not much for him. These are prospects. These are things that people like Medicare and other detractors have said before. He has nowhere to go. Now, as he says that what happens when you run out of things to light on fire, you're gonna light yourself on fire. Well, Phil's already been there and done that. Now he's just trying to light on fire everybody around him as best he can to keep his own embers lit. You know what I'm saying? Or a flame, or whatever you want to call it. Because even lighting himself on fire in desperation didn't help. It was a short-term solution. It wasn't even a solution. It was just a short-term lapse of judgment, I guess, that paid no dividends to anybody. And it only made him, it only put him in a worse situation. I mean, Jesus Christ. The situation with Panda early on in this video, he lit her on fire. He literally pushed that girl out there, and she took the she took the firing squad for him. And for what? She had no business being put out there in that situation. Whether she did it on her own agenda or on her own accord, he should have reeled that back in and say, hey, there's no need for that, I'll handle it. Or if he pushed her out there like Wings does. There was just no place for any of that. Not at all. And yet again, this goes back to, for any of these DSP haters that are out here, how do you respect a man who can't even stand on his own too? Either dismiss the shit or go out there and fight it yourself. Don't send your potentially underage girlfriend out there to do it. Don't do that. And that's where a lot of the hate comes from for Panda. Not say she didn't deserve it. She put herself out in those situations. But a lot of it came down to her trying to defend Phil's dumbass. And vice versa.
He's a comedian,
well,
really.
That so trying to exploit her, and she can work your nerves after a while. I kind of see that. So it is what it is. But then again, she wasn't getting no sex cake, so she was frustrated too, and that gave her a reason to be even more annoying. It's a thing.
Doing comedy. He's doing stand up on the road. Because I don't see it. Because if anyone can call themselves a comedian on here, if that's the case. Hell, I'm a comedian then. The guy down the street, if he's on YouTube, he's a comedian. You have to be kidding me if you think that this is okay. He's a grown-ass man who is pandering to children. That's what he's doing. Because that's his fan base at this point. And it's sad to say because some of you fans of his actually came out and said, look, you know, I was a fan of his and then I left. Some of you say, I'm a fan of his, but I do agree that his erratic behavior is a problem in the community. Some of you even said, I'm a fan of his, but I would like to try and help him and get better. And it seems like any type of criticism you give this dude, King of Hate, he's going to shoot you down.
And some of Phil's old videos, it corroborates a lot of that. So that is a thing, which is even more sad, to be honest. That's even more sad. That there were people who were fans, but who saw Phil's personality, essentially, who saw Phil for what he really was, starting to come out, and they were trying to help him. They were trying to either help his air quotes business, or they were trying to help him out if he was trying to go through if he was going through some personal shit, or whatever the case may be. Literally, Phil could not hold on to the fact, or he couldn't stand the fact that his popularity was waning and that it was hurting his money. And he wasn't man enough to sit there and be like, this is my fault. I need to try to fix this. No, you guys need to step up and try to help me fix all this. Because you guys are the ones who brought me here. Just like how he blames them now. Oh, I did, and as Main Event said, you know, his fan base is merely just kids. Well, that's what Phil wanted. Phil even said he went out of his way to pander to these immature children, right? Because that's what made him popular. That's what they liked. So, you know, he puts out what they want. He gets all the money and everything was going to be good. He put himself in a bad spot. And now he sits there and says all this bullshit. Oh, well, I'm not like that anymore. I changed. You know, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago, so on and so forth. Yeah, you're worse. You're worse and you're running out of options because you can't reinvent yourself anymore. You're stuck being DSP, Darksydephil, Dark Geppetto, Dark Karen, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. You're stuck. Dark Geppetto, you can't do anything else. Even if he wanted to, he can't. He's burned every bridge that he had. Even the few people who would be willing to reach out to him and try to help him, he's fucking toxic waste. He's radiation. You can't. Not without there, unless you want to deal with the fallout. And if Darksydephil has brought down himself the way he did, just imagine what he'll do to someone else. It's like cancer. He'll literally consume you to keep himself going. And you can't really cut him completely and totally out. And that's where he's at now. So when Phil bitches and complains about, oh, I can't get the opportunities, I can't do collabs, I can't do this and that, fucker, you're the one who called people shills. Fucker, you're the one who sat there and said that all these other people were Muppets and they only do this for profit, and they weren't legitimate and they weren't real gamers and their content wasn't any good anyway. So why the fuck would you want help from the very people you shit on? Oh, that situation with Hutch. That beef you had with Hutch. And then all of a sudden you end up getting bumped off a blip, and then you have to come to YouTube and you had to beg him for a job. That's right. I forgot how you did that. I forgot how you had to get on your hands and knees and suck some dick to get a job from Machinima. Going to someone who you talk shit about, you had to go back to him with your head in your hat in your hand and whatnot, sad snorts all around, and beg him for a job. And because he was a better person than you, not even trying to be, but the fact that he was a better person than you, sorry. Sure, Phil, I'm going to try to help you out with this. And that's all Phil is, a walking charity case, which is what he's always been. So, in truth, none of us should be surprised by the begging. It's all he has. When Phil can't do it on his own, his first natural instinct is to beg. It's the easiest way of going about it. And he can complain one day that tips are low or contributions are low and say, all these people are shitting on me and they call me e-beggars, I'm not an e-beggar. But then a day or two later, when the tip goal has been hit and maybe even exceeded on both streams respectfully, right? Which is the most respect I'm gonna give it for right now. Then all of a sudden, oh, they're so jealous of my success, and they're so jealous that you guys come through for me, and when I ask you guys for help, you guys give it to me, and they hate it. They hate you guys, they hate me, and they hate my success, so please keep supporting. You guys have all heard that dumb shit. It was pathetic the moment he thought it up. What made him think it was going to be any less pathetic to actually say it?
Fans of DSP, should I even talk about the fact that these bad giveaways that he does? You know, he doesn't even give you the game in the box. He just gives you the box with his autograph on it like he's some type of star. You gotta be kidding me. Should we talk about when you enter his streams, what people have shown me, that he just trashes on you fans when you don't agree with something he says? What kind of man does that to his fan base? He doesn't have a general rapport with his fans. Yet there's some of these people on here who will kiss his ass as if they know him. At least PandaLee knows him. You know what I mean? Some of you people never even met this dude. But you won't defend him to the end. It's a shame that fans like this. And then people ask me, you know, do you think there's going to be any change? No. Because of fans like you.
And he's absolutely right. And nothing did change. And even the fans who woke up, even the ones who left, the core, rabid, hardcore fan base, as Phil has called them, the cult, as everybody else calls them, they're okay with him being the way he is. And they got to be really subtle and really have to handle Phil's bitch ass with like kids' gloves to get the smallest suggestions off to him. Usually when Phil's desperate. But he's right. The fan base is one of the reasons why he's at where he's at. Because it's Phil's natural crutch to be like, hey, when I was succeeding, it was because you guys liked what I was doing. So why should I change? Because everybody's leaving. Oh, well, that's what brought my success, though. The success is gone. You need to do something new if you want to bring more people back in and keep what little that you have. But you guys are my hardcore fan base. So you guys are going to stay here regardless. So why should I change? And then when he does do changes, as few and far between as they are, they don't make any sense. They don't fit what he does or what he's known for. And Phil has never been one who's been good with change. So whose fault is it then? And then when he does take a suggestion from you, which I love this, when he takes a suggestion from you guys and it fails, he blames you guys for it. Oh, I should have stuck with what I was doing. I should have been failing in my own way instead of listening to you guys and then failing in a new way. And if you ever listen to Phil when he describes that situation, he sounds like he literally got his piggy heart ripped out. He sounds genuinely hurt. And you want to know why? Let me impress this on you. Do you know why he feels genuinely hurt by it? Because it cements things that I've said, that other detractors before me have said, and other detractors after me have said, that no matter what he does, he'll always be a failure. And nothing's going to change that. And that's the reason why he doesn't want to try anything new, because he does not have the strength of character to sit there and accept the failure. He's going to do it half-ass anyway. He's not going to ask for any real help unless someone just does it all for him. And then when it fails, he sits there and he knows deep down that, Jesus Christ, I'm so stuck that no matter what I do, I'm always going to be a failure at it. Despite the fact that all those years prior, people told me, do this, do that. You're a fucking dinosaur. You're falling behind. If you do not do what you need to do now, there will be no catching up. Oh, I got time. Oh, that stuff's just a gimmick. It won't last long. All that, I outlasted this person. I outlasted this company. I outlasted such and such. What are you going to say when this gaming industry outlasts you? Something to think about.
When you sit here and you advocate this, I told you before, I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck how big you are. Fuck your E-fame. Fuck the bullshit. At the end of the day, if you advocate any of these things and just say, oh, it's just funny, it's not. You advocate this shit. You know what that means? You're just as bad. You're just as sick. You need to go as well. I guarantee you, if DSP decide to stop making videos today, all you're going to do is move on to someone else. So stop acting like you're this hardcore supporter. Really. DSP knows, and I think that's why he treats his fan like shit. Because he doesn't, he thinks, hey, one of these days they're going to walk away anyway. Or someone will replace them. That's all he's thinking. He trying to get money.
Exactly. This goes back to my whole Phil being fucking a gouty fucking vampire and shit. Snorty Dracula, if you will. And he's just out here snorting around looking for new blood. And that's why he don't value none of these people. Because the ones that are really going to stick around, they'll literally do what fucking Brightside Viking damn near did and give their money until they fall into poverty. As for everybody else, you guys are all expendable. He'll bleed you guys until you're drained dry, or until you guys wake the fuck up, whatever comes first. And then he can only hope that someone else new will come in and replace you. And over the last couple years, especially since I've been a detractor, we've seen plenty of whales come and go for various reasons. We've seen quite a bit. And they all come and go. They all have a run for a little while and they all leave. He hasn't had another Brightside Viking. I don't think he ever will. I think Brightside Viking was like that 1 in a million catch. And he got rid of Brightside Viking because, one, he thought that Twitch was going to end up bumping him off. So he basically stabbed Brightside Viking in the back to save himself. But two, if I remember the story correctly, of course, Brightside Viking was going through some financial situations or whatever, some financial issues, and he couldn't give money the way he used to. So for Phil, I mean, fuck it. For Phil, he was dead weight. He was dead weight. You're not giving me the money that you used to for me to value you the way I used to. And you're kind of becoming a liability. And if I have to choose between Twitch and being able to beg on this platform long term or you, I'm going to choose Twitch. And that's exactly what happened with Brightside Viking. And think about all the people who try to step up and be Brightside Viking after that. The main two people was really Swaggins and Straight Cash Homie. Straight Cash Homie wasn't going to keep that shit up. So we can just go ahead and scoot him off the board. You know what I'm saying? He's just another pawn that was expendable anyway. And then look at Swaggins. Swaggins wanted all of the amenities, all of the privileges and honors that came of being Brightside Viking, but he couldn't do it. Brightside Viking actually had to bleed for Phil. He had to bleed a little bit for Phil to do the dumb shit that he was able to get away with. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was literally Phil's sergeant at arms. He was the one that was out there on the front lines and whatnot. And Swaggins wasn't going to be man enough to do that shit. Not even close. Swaggins was nothing more than what Phil thought he was. A bitch. A lapdog that he could kick whenever the fuck he felt like. And throw his ass out there on the porch and make him beg to come back in. And that's exactly what Swaggins did. And then eventually Swaggins wised up, or at least that's what people said he did, and then he left for a little while. But people like me said, oh, his bitch ass will be back. He's a good lapdog. He'll be right back on that porch. Middle of fucking winter. His master can't even throw him a blanket. But he'll be back there on that porch. And Lord knows, he's still there to this day. He left for a little while, but he went right back. Because where else was he going to go? And there were good people I won't name names, but there were some good detractors out there who said maybe he's finally going to wake up. Maybe he's going to understand that he needs to value himself before others. But I knew. And Swaggins knew. I've never spoken to Swaggins a day in my life, but I know Swaggins knew what I was saying. Swaggins knew and I knew he'd go back sooner than later. Because where else was he going to go? Where else was he going to go? He wasn't debriefing. He wasn't like that one mod who ended up waking up and go to Kiwi Farms and debriefed and shit, or as some other people have done. He wasn't debriefing. So, obviously, he was holding out some hope, and I guess he thought Phil was going to beg for him to come back. Phil wasn't going to do that. And that, and to be honest, and I've definitely said this, I don't think Phil ever really liked Swaggins in the first place. I think he was just a mild annoyance. He was someone who gave a good amount of money, right? And Phil knew he could bleed him whenever he needed to. I think, honestly, and this might be giving Phil too much credit, maybe it's not. I think Phil played Swaggins. I think he played into Swaggins' insecurities, and he milked it for everything it was worth. I honestly think that. And like I said, that's a lot. It's not 4D chess, but that's a lot to kind of credit to give Phil. But I think that's what he did with Swaggins. That's what he did with Swaggins. I think, to some degree, Phil respected Brightside Viking. He don't respect none of these other guys. Like, Brightside Viking wasn't just some mindless fucking drone that threw him money and shit. He was a confidant. He was someone who put in work for Phil. Some of these people can't even put in the work right, let alone can they keep up the amount of money that Phil would need and expect. Why would Phil trust any of them to be confidants? Phil's so paranoid now that he wouldn't trust anybody with anything. And I bring up Swaggins and Straight Cash Homie because them guys paid for modship. They paid their way into the situation. Phil don't have to respect that. No one does, honestly.
And it's sad that he's doing it in the lowest way possible. Like I said, go outside. There's a reason why they say go out and get what you deserve. Go out and get what you deserve. Not sit in the house and do as little as possible and try to get money. That's sad. It's pathetic. Grown-ass men acting like this. And he's not the only one. There's a number of them acting like this on here. But yet, for some reason, that's what y'all praise. Like I said, for years, I've been trying to get people to be responsible. Because they think that if they can come up, because first off, their lives are shit, all right, in real life. And then they have to come on here and act like a completely different person over video games.
And ironically enough, I'll tell you, man, like, Main Event had the formula. Like, he had it all down. This is someone who is very good at observing and getting a grasp on what the situation is. He was absolutely right. Phil's life is shit. It always has been shit. Even when he was on his own, even when he was making all this money, even when he had John on beck and call and everything, it still wasn't enough for Phil. You know what I'm saying? His IRL was garbage. He got conned into that condo in Connecticut, right? He got stuck in a shitty job that he didn't like, but he needed the money, and he wanted the money, and he felt like he should be making what his father's making, despite the fact he's not doing his father's work, nor does he have his experience. Semantics. Then he was running around using his father as a shield so he could be like, oh, well, my back hurts, so I need a special chair for this. I need to do this. I kind of don't want to sit right here. I want to walk around and do a little bit more or whatever. These are all things Phil has said at one time or another. That right there was already a bunch of strikes on him. Then he gets fired, right, from that job. Then uses his 401k, blows through his pension, and mommy and daddy were giving him money, blows through all of that, decides to turn YouTube into an actual thing, uses his friends, John, Howard, OJ, and whoever else he could, to come in on this gaming thing while they do all the work and he makes all the money, right? They try to do East Coast Customs, complete and total failure, probably breaking the law. Then he wanted to actually he wanted to do what other big YouTubers were doing, other big gaming YouTubers, where they actually had like a separate office space to where they can actually do all the gaming and everything. He wanted to have that. He felt he was deserving to have that. And he wanted John and Howard to come in on all that with him, right? To help grow their online personas, to help grow their online communities or profiles, if you will. That didn't end up happening because either A, he wasn't able to spend the money, or B, he was able to spend the money to rent the space and whatnot, but those guys were like, yeah, we have other shit that our life, we have better things going on in our lives and shit, and if we're not getting paid to do this, if we're just doing this to help you, that's not beneficial to us. So that fell through. And then it's funny how when he couldn't get that office space, then all of a sudden he wants to move out of Connecticut. Did anybody ever think about that? In 2012 and 2013, he had his hopes high that he could try to get an office space so he could do all of his gaming and stuff, and then he could come home and sit down, drink, relax, and watch YouTube and watch the money just pile up. But when that right there didn't work, when that wasn't going to come to fruition, then all of a sudden he wants to move out of state. Anybody thought about that? I thought it was interesting. Because it's funny how, why the fuck would you want to rent office space in a state when you say the taxes are so bad in that state? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, taxes are horrible. So you want to go ahead and get rent an office space and pay even more money and pay even more in taxes? For what? What sense does that make? So then he decided to run out the state. He decided to leave the whole goddamn coast. And then what? And he's been miserable ever since. He was miserable before that, but he's been miserable ever since. He's been so busy chasing what other people had or being upset at other people's accomplishments that he never really sat down and enjoyed his own. He just spent it. I guess that was the only thing that made him happy, was spending the money instead of actually looking back and seeing at what he built and wondering on how he could improve it. What was there to improve? You guys love me unconditionally. You love me before the games, right? So I can treat you guys any way I want, and you guys are going to deal with it because you guys love me, right? And look at how that blew up in his goddamn face. Oh well.
Videos. How can you, like I said, when you've ever lived in a bad neighborhood, I'm not trying to hear you stuck up when you just saw someone getting stuck up. That's bullshit. And for people like, oh, well, he had no choice but to do this. No, he had a choice. He could have kept, look, I'll put it like this. They all say he got laid off of a job, right? Okay, so we say, well, YouTube was making his ends meet. Look, understand, he could have easily went back job hunting like anyone else does. I'm not trying to hear that, especially for y'all saying how smart he is. If he's so fucking smart, he would have been able to get another job with no problem. I'm not trying to hear the economy these days. You can get a job. No excuses. There's many ways. Temp work, you need a recruiter. There's tons of ways you can get a job. No excuses.
Exactly. And that goes back to something that has been said by many of a detractor. He could have done both. He could have still ran DSP Gaming, King of Hate Vlogs, and whatever else, and still had himself a part-time job. He didn't even have to go back and get a full-time job. He could have got himself a part-time job. He could have done that and YouTube, and it's still been incredibly lucrative. Because it's funny how when Phil was bitching and complaining about how, oh, my views are down, oh, you guys aren't participating enough, this, that, and third, he's still making over $100,000 a year. He was now he's barely scraping 100,000 plus. But back then, he must have been at least in the 170,000, 180,000 a year. But it still wasn't enough because it wasn't at his peak, which is, as I said, it's surmised that it was about 250,000. He took that much of a dip, and he crying and complaining about, you guys need to participate with the views. You guys need to, you know what I'm saying? You guys need to give me more and more views. I put all this time into this. You guys give me more and more views. Despite the fact that mommy and daddy are still giving him money, and some of the brethren over there in the hate army was giving him money or tipping him or donating to him behind the scenes. And yet he still got the nerve to ask for money or demand support. When you put everything into perspective, it was classic failure incarnate. It's actually beautiful if it wasn't so tragic.
He said, oh, well, he had it bad. I guarantee you there's a lot of people out there who've had it worse. There's people out there that have been homeless. There's people out there who live 6, 7 people in a one household, only have 2-bedroom apartment. Don't give me this shit, man. I'm not trying to hear it. He complained about money, but he got all those statues and all that other bullshit around him, right? I'm not trying to hear it. He not hurt.
Exactly. Good point on that too, by the way. Because I found I think I mentioned this in the last video, but I found that T. Carter situation, that tribute, air quotes, that he did in that Hate Live. And he starts off that segment 40 plus minutes, by the way, not the 10 or 15 minutes, not that small little segment that was part of a much bigger podcast like he kept lying to you guys about over these years. That shit was half the podcast. That was half the podcast, that whole T. Carter situation. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. But the part I do want to talk about is he starts off that segment about how T. Carter was from this really bad part of the neighborhood, and you know he couldn't afford a car, and his mother could barely afford a car, and he was just in a really terrible life situation. That's funny, Phil, because I thought you said you were raised in the hood. I thought you said you had it bad, where gunshots were going around all the time, and your neighbors were getting beat up for their bikes and all that bullshit. But T. Carter lived in a place worse than that? The way Phil describes that situation, he makes it sound like he was middle class, which is what he was. And T. Carter was in the slums. He was in the slums. He was in the fucking hood. He certainly expressed that T. Carter had it worse than him, but I thought Phil was from the hood. I thought he was from a bad part of Connecticut, where all the gunshots were flying and shit all day. It was Chirac. It makes you wonder, don't it? Makes you think about things, doesn't it? Don't worry, that video's coming up too.
Right now it's not. But he know this shit is going to end soon. That's what it is. That's why he's complaining about views. More views equal more money. You're not fooling nobody, man. Grown-ass man acting like this. He's supposed to be in business, but if he is hurting, I'll put it like this. If he really is hurting, and he's such a great mind, and he's spending all this money, then obviously he ain't that smart then. You can't set a budget for yourself? Come on, man. As I said, I'm talking real shit right now. And it seems like nobody wants to hear that. Like I said, there's no excuse for this dude. I told y'all I was on the clock. This is just the start. I'm done with this right now, man, because it's a joke. He doesn't want to take the challenge. Fine. Challenge is done. But don't think I won't still call you on your bullshit. Time.
Beautiful. Just beautiful. Oh, boy. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end of that. Give me a minute to square up. We'll reconvene for final thoughts, and I will see you guys for part 3, because I'm going to make sure all these come out in succession, and so on and so forth. Oh, good shit to main event. See you guys in a second.
Hey, yo. I just want to say shout out to my red bike. It got stolen about a year ago, and I think about you every day. But, you know, now I got a blue bike, and it's not the same, but it's a new life, a new journey. So, rest in pedals, red bike, I love you. I like to bask in the tropics with a flask in my pocket. If you act no brolic, I'll start laughing and mocking like a charismatic parrot that is a comic. Now I'm feeling like the shit, cause I'm rapping with finest. Loose off of Jen Ricky's, perusing Sin City, riding my Schwinn smooth like the swing of Ken Griffey, and the felt of the velvet. I said hell with a helmet. I can tell that you're jealous of the smell of the shellfish. Don't tell me I need a haircut. You can't walk a mile in my shoes cause I'm barefoot. Bob's taking the toke, God's making the joke. With a Mickey Mantle rookie card close pinned to my spoke. I'm partying with the dead like Dia de los Muertos. People look at me funny cause I'm a scarecrow, but I don't care, bro, I'm snacking on apricots. I need my space like an astronaut. I'm in the sun chasing rum with the juice of a plum. In a singing mood, the drinking pool.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yet again, this is all just small pieces that it makes up part of a much larger puzzle. There's going to be, as we go on with this, it's not just about the FGC. That's the main purpose. That's our whole point of doing this. But it's gonna get a little ugly. We're gonna get into some things. We're going to end up, air quotes, debunking some shit that some of you guys may have never heard of. You guys might not remember, for whatever the reason. There's going to be a lot of nonsense that's going to come out of this. I need to get myself a re-tea, by the way. I could really use one right now. But that's the situation. That is the situation. That is the problem. The PandaLee stuff, at least him sending her out there to go ahead and fight these battles, I didn't necessarily know all that. I thought she may have done some of that willingly. And if she had, the fact that he wasn't man enough to stand up and be like, and come out publicly and say, hey, I got this, let me handle this, because you would think, hey, this is making me look bad now, my woman out there fighting for me. Don't be wrong, behind every strong man's behind every strong man's an even stronger woman. But Phil comes across like the type of bitch to push her out there like that. And if you guys want proof, yet again, we can go back to Wings of Redemption and his current wife. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, lol cow brothers are lol cow brothers. And that ain't too far off the mark, especially with the way Wings is piling that weight back on. So, and I'll give Wings at least a little bit of credit. At least he man enough to admit that the surgery was a failure, but it was always a failure. That surgery was always going to be was not botched, but it was always going to fail for him because it's mental, not physical. And Phil and Wings aren't strong mentally. That's why Phil has to starve himself so people don't have something to laugh at, and that he's too lazy to cook for himself. And Wings will sit there and eat himself back into the goddamn grave because he can't stand or he can't live with what's being said about him. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this was part 2. Like I said, I'll see you guys for part 3, where things, we close things up as it pertains to this. The situation with T. Carter, like I said, I will mirror that segment. It's about 40 minutes or so. I will mirror that, and then I'll come in after that with my commentary. But I want you to listen to it very closely. Okay? Well, not very closely, but I want you to listen to it. Because some of you may have never actually heard it. So I want you to just hear it out. I want you guys to listen to it and take that all in and whatnot. And then I'll come in and I'll cut that bacon up, because there's going to be some things in there that I think maybe some of you guys haven't thought about, or maybe some of you guys missed, or maybe you guys haven't seen it in a long time. That's just buried in the King of Hate vlogs. So I don't expect anybody to go over there and look for it. But that's what we do. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. I'll see you guys for the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Gout Report. This is Snortopia. And this is DSP News 2nd edition. And this is Tim Snortons. The best. Take care of yourselves, guys. See you on the next one.
Chasing raw with the juice of a plum. In the singing mood, the drinking booze like a bomb. Someone stole my red bike, so I bought a blue one. I was sad, but fuck it, I got a new one. I wanna live in Bolivia, be oblivious. I'm sick of always having to deal with these idiots. The ignorance is ubiquitous and it's hideous. When I get lucky, that's when I'm the wittiest. When people don't leave me alone, that's the shittiest. When people leave their phone at home, that's the prettiest. Going on a hike shouldn't be considered hippie shit. It's okay to spend some days away from your affiliates. Mother Nature's where I'm planting my seed. Do a dance in the breeze on the branch of a tree. I reside in my mind, that's the land of the free. I got the world in my palm, you should hand it to me. I can't copy and steal cause I got art etiquette. Sometimes I think that everyone's my arch nemesis. I've come to the conclusion my bike is my best friend. My worst enemies tend to be dead ends.